Okay, my name is Lois, Dorethy, Denny, Andrus, and I go by Joe. My step-grandpa adopted my mother, Lois Pittman, and when she died at 23 years old, he adopted me and gave me the nickname of Joe after his favorite singer, Joe Stafford. In August 5th, 1948, I was born to Lois Pittman, Denny, and Raymond Martin Fales. He was born in 1924, and mother was born in 1934, I believe. And after mother died and my grandmother and my step-grandpa adopted me, we lived in Neosho Rapids, Kansas, on a dry farm, and I had polio. My little brother, I had a half-brother, Jimmy. Him and I and Grandma all had polio around the month of August in 1953, and then Mother died at 2 days after Christmas that year. And then that's when my grandparents adopted me. We moved to Ingham, Idaho in 1954 because there was better doctors, and Grandpa had raised Ab Fitch, which lived in Ingham at that time. And so that's how we came to Idaho. We sold the farm in Kansas at an auction and moved out here. And so I continued my education in Ingham, Idaho, and went to Marsh Valley for high school. And at that time we moved to Virginia, Idaho, which was still in the same school district. It was down by Downey, Idaho, close to the Utah border. And 1966 I graduated, and Roy Andrus gave me a ring for graduation, and but we didn't get married until 2000, and then he asked me to marry him again, and we've been married for 10 years. My hobbies are playing the piano and church callings and helping with the elderly people in my neighborhood, and singing, traveling, seeing our grandchildren. Roy has 6 grandchildren, and I have 3. He's got 2 children. He's got 4 children, and I have 2 children, a boy and a girl, Dina and Brian, and Roy's children are Mindy, Misty, Brock, and Brandon. I play the ukulele and the piano for the senior choir at the Kearns Senior Center in Kearns, Utah, and also am the leader of the Harmonicats here at the center. We have around 20 to 25 people that play mostly harmonica, but some of them play melodicas and accordion, guitar, whatever instrument they'd like to play. We always welcome that. My education, after I graduated from Marsh Valley, I went to Idaho State University in Pocatello for a year. I was majoring in elementary education and minoring in music. And after a year of that, I decided I didn't want to continue that education because at that time there was so many school teachers and there was no jobs when we got out of college. So they was just opening up the trade school there at ISU, and I talked to my grandpa into letting me go there, and I got a certificate in medical secretarial, and the school got me a job for the government out on the government site up by Idaho Falls. And I worked out there for a year as a stenographer for 8 engineers, and rode the bus to Pocatello and back, which was 144 miles a day. And then in that time I got married to Merlin D. Richardson, and we had Dina. She was born in 1969. The different jobs I've had, other than the government site there in Idaho Falls, I also was a co-owner with my second husband in remodeling and addition businesses. After that divorce, I started working for the phone company, which was Mountain Bell, in 1982 there in Pocatello, and in '84 they were talking about closing up that office, and I had a chance to transfer to Salt Lake City, and so that is how I ended up in Salt Lake City. And I retired there in 2001 with 21 and a half years of service at the age of 55. And I've also worked for Gem State Distributing in about 1977 for a couple of years. Started out driving a catering truck, and ended up being a manager over a commissary, which made the sandwiches and put foods into the. I had 8 girls that had trucks, and they would pick up the sandwiches and the food to put into the vending machines at the different businesses in Pocatello, Idaho. And then after that, I started for the phone company. Now I'm retired, but I still work part-time at R.C. Willey as a telephone operator, and also as a music instructor for the Kern Senior Center under Salt Lake County. I've done quite a bit of traveling and have gone on 5 cruises and traveled all over the United States. The cruises were some of my favorite. Roy and I went to South Dakota last year with the senior tours, and went through the Black Hills and Crazy Horse and Martin's Cove, and that was one of our favorite trips. We still visit Kansas once in a while. We go to Idaho often because most of our grandchildren are up there, and family. We've been to Canada a couple of years ago to see Roy's little sister, Luana, and that is beautiful country too. The cruises to Mexico and the Caribbean were some of our favorite cruises. I play the ukulele and piano and have done a lot of singing in my earlier years. I love to cook. I love to organize activities, or do any kind of organizing. I enjoy doing something like that. Some of the accomplishments that I've done in my life, when I was 16, I took first place in Farm Bureau talent contest, and in my senior year was chosen most talented by my classmates at Marsh Valley, and graduated there in 1966, and then, like I say, went on to ISU. I've played piano a lot for church choirs, the senior choir, like I say, and the harmonicats. And one of the funniest things in my life, the one that stands out, when I was babysitting my best friend's son Lee, she came to pick him up at night, and Lee and Brian, my son, were both one was 3 and the other one was 4, but they looked alike, and so in the dark she picked up the wrong one, and we had the lights kind of down low, but when she got to the door and I went to open the door up, I noticed that she had the wrong boy. So Vicki and I still laugh about that to this day. In fact, we laughed so hard that night that she ended up staying the rest of the night. We couldn't quit laughing.